You're listening to Through It All, where stories come alive and faith finds its voice. Each episode, individuals who've encountered life's highs and lows will be heard, and through it all, they witness the undeniable faithfulness of God. This isn't just about sharing stories. It's about celebrating God's enduring love and transformative power of His grace. Welcome to Through It All. Well, thanks for tuning in. I am extremely excited today to have some special guests with me, Mark and Amy Niewoonder. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I usually don't start like this, but you guys have meant the world to my wife and I. And I'm really excited because I think we've walked through a lot of things together and had friendships, and then you guys are the OGs. One of the original, I think it was 25 that came here, and faithful people of God. And so this will be our last episode of the season. So we're going to end it with a bang.
Okay.
You got that?
Give it a shot.
Why not?
It'll be great, I promise you that. But anyway, so I want to start with just saying how much you've meant to us. Just there was a really tough time in ministry. And I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you do. But you invited us up to your cabin. Where's that thing at?
Amasa.
What's Amasa?
Oh, Amasa is north of Crystal Falls, which is 100 miles the other side of Escanaba. And I remember following you up there, and you had ministered to us because I was going through some really tough stuff. And you invited us into your family Thanksgiving. No electricity, no running water, in the middle of nowhere. And I took my boys, and to this day, that was probably one of the, I don't know, it was just something you did with us. You loved us like no tomorrow. And then we found out later on what the stuffing had in it. The special, is it sardines or something?
Oysters, smoked oysters.
Smoked oysters.
Yes.
Well, coming off of Hardee's, we had to do something.
yeah, that was the thing. But you have prayed for me, you have loved me, and I hope that we've done the same and try to love you guys in the same way. So you're some very dear friends to us, and I just want you to know that in advance, that I will forever be grateful for even like going out the other night for dinner and just talking to my wife. Amy, you have just, man, thank you.
You're welcome. But it has gone both ways over the past 20 years. Mm-hmm. The support that you have given us in times of struggles and raising kids and, needing an ear to listen to. And so it's been a two-way street between us.
Yeah, we've got a lot in common with the two boys, and built some tough ones. They don't understand that. But so how'd you guys meet? Talk to me, man.
Well, it was at a party.
Of course.
One my mother begged me not to go to, and I went anyway, and Mark was there.
And I was just being me, being dumb, and I found a plate of chocolate chip cookies, and I said, who made these chocolate chip cookies? And it was this wonderful lady, Amy, and that's where it started. Chocolate chip cookies.
So that was the prerequisite.
That was it. And I gotta have, it can't be burned, and it's gotta be chocolate, lots of chips.
Soft.
Yeah,
you gotta have the soft.
You gotta have some goo in there,
Yeah, you gotta have the goo.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
The funny part about that, it was my brother's party, and he said to me, "Hey, I could use some chocolate chip cookies." Well, he accidentally left them out at the party instead of taking them home. And
I found them.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Yeah. Mark, you guys, did you both go to the same school? Did you know each other in school?
We did not.
He's way older than me.
Yeah, I'm 4 years older than Amy.
So you were out of high school.
I was out of school.
But you both went to the same high school.
We were blessed to go to Kalamazoo Christian. And I was in 78 and you were in 82. That's where we came out of there. So I didn't know her at all. I knew her brother Don, but I did not know Amy at all until that soiree we went to.
And I was between two of his brothers in high school. One was older, one was younger. So I knew the family, but I actually didn't know his brothers had an older brother. So
when did you start dating? I don't mean to bring you back that far. It's hard to remember when you get older.
Because I'm older.
it was the spring of 1983.
Okay.
And we got married in October of 84.
Yeah. So we dated just a little over a year and a half.
What'd you love about him?
He was just so nice. He was so courteous. He was just a nice guy, but he was fun. We had a lot of fun. We always had fun together.
What'd you love about her?
Everything. Come on, man. I know. I'm a sellout.
Yeah.
No, she was just paid attention, was attentive to my, what we wanted to do. We always did things together. And in fact, one time when the pastor that married us, Bob Walter, he said to me, he goes, "Are you two living together?" And I said, "Yeah, we are. We're living together. But she goes home every night." But we did everything together except for, work and sleeping at night. So we were constantly together. So it was my best friend. And then I got nervous and went to Colorado for a while and came back and said, "All right."
What do you mean you got nervous? Like scared of getting married?
Oh, yeah. Most of my friends were single. I lived on West Lake with a buddy, and it was just a bachelor dude life. And she came in there and wrecked my world.
That's how it's supposed to be, man.
I know it is now.
Yeah.
When you're 22, it's...
So did you guys grow up in the faith?
Yes.
Both CRC?
Yes.
Yeah. Strong parents.
Kelma's a Christian. Both of us at Kelma's a Christian.
I was at Second Christian Reform. She was at Millwood Christian Reform.
Your Dutches all get up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got the big shoes. We're as Dutch as they get.
Your father and mother were incredible.
Yeah. My dad.
Your mother and father too. Like, you look at I look at faith, and like one of the important things, like we've had a lot of guests that come on here and we talked about raising kids or whatever, and it's there's no guarantees, but there's an obligation, and a privilege, which I've watched you. There's consistency, you've been faithful to bringing forth, and I think you guys are both products of that, knowing. I love your mom just passed away. I'm so sorry, but man, I like talking to her. She'd always give me like what I need to be doing, and all the end.
Oh yeah.
She said, "Let me know what's going on." And your dad was just an incredible man.
I was very blessed.
Yeah,
very blessed.
Yeah, and so you guys grew up in that. How many kids do you have?
We have 3 children.
How many grandkids?
8 grands and 1 great.
1 great.
Yep.
Wow, that's like next level. And then you owned a landscape?
Yeah, my grandfather started the landscaping business in the 40s. And then my dad took it over. And then my 2 brothers and I took it over. And now I've retired and I've relinquished my share of the business to my son Daniel. And my brothers Ron and Ed are of 62 and 63, and they're looking to retire. So Dan will probably end up 4th generation family business.
That's awesome.
My dad.
Is that Epi?
Epi was my grandfather.
Epi, man, there's a name. That's like one name. When I drive by your sign, I always think Epi.
Epi
Niewoonder.
Yep. And Joost Vanderhorst was my other grandfather. So they're right out. They owned the boat, I think, when we all came over. But
you said, "What do you mean you have shoes made out of leather? That's dumb.
We need
wooden shoes."
Right.
Isn't that something, man?
It's crazy.
It's amazing too, because when you look in Kalamazoo, the area we live in, for those listening, this is like a Dutch area. We're Dutch immigrants, So you have New York,
yep,
Southwest Michigan, and then Iowa, like Orange City, Iowa.
Sure.
And that's like the 3 spots like you go south of here and you say Reformed, they're like, what? You say, California a little bit too,
Well,
but
Southern Cal,
but yeah. So you guys, where'd you go to? You guys were, when I met you, it was at. It's Third Reformed. It'll always be Third Reformed in my mind. Is that where you were going to church, like together?
Yeah, Millwood first, and then Third Reformed. And
then you two. The interesting part is that one of the things that I kind of want to talk about is you have incredible, like you serve like crazy. How long you served with, if I remember correctly, the youth department there?
Yep.
For how long did you do that?
I don't know how long we did it at Center Point. It was probably about 5 or 6 years. But then when we were at Millwood Church, until our oldest daughter was entering high school, which was around year 2000. And then that's when we started going to Center Point. But we were youth group leaders before the boys were born. I mean, Kate.
We've done youth ministry for over 30 years.
We did youth ministry between the three churches. It was over 30 years.
Not as the leader, but as a set of hands to help, help the leaders.
But I mean, how many people can say that? So you have hearts for ministry. I know that you were kind of like wanting to be, and we'll talk about how this all came together because I want to get into some of the stuff that you've been encountering lately. But did you have plans to like travel and minister with a trailer?
We tried to.
With the Sowers Ministry,
Yeah.
Seniors on Wheels. What was it? No, I can't think of it. It's Seniors on Wheels, Ever Ready, something like that.
So you would go to places like Catastrophe, places, and then minister by being. So you're very hands-on ministry. You don't look from a distance.
Right.
Like, we got to be involved. Yeah, get deep in that. Yeah, and you've been very influential on my sons and daughter, whereas they see you as family. And that's one of the things that I love about you guys. But you've also encountered a ton of struggle, right?
The last few years.
Yeah.
The last couple of years have been a challenge.
Yeah. And yet you're, still faithful, and we'll talk about that and how does that work. But like even before we started, we were talking a little bit about, maintaining all of these things. So I want to start with you, Mark. Okay.
Okay.
And you got, you kind of had some health hiccups here off and on. Right. That have kind of done there. What was up with was it sepsis or something?
I got bit by a spider in the middle of my back, and it turned into a big sepsis. And then and we were in Massachusetts visiting our daughter when that happened, and I spent a little time in that hospital in foreign land, and then we the vancomycin they put on me to destroy the MRSA that I had. It was a challenge between killing the MRSA off or vegetating your heart valves. I don't understand all this stuff, but that's what they tell me. And I had to go to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, and they took care of that for me. And I was good for...
How long was that? Because I remember praying. I'm like, what did he do?
We were in Massachusetts for 2 weeks in the hospital with the treatment of MRSA, and literally Bonnie and Clyde it back to Kalamazoo because they were going to put him into a rehab nursing home facility. And I said to the doctor, how are we getting him to this facility? And he says, well, you can drive him. Well, I missed the facility and went straight to Kalamazoo.
Yeah, I put my butt in the Buick, and the Buick went to Kalamazoo, and instead of going to the nursing home.
And
is that legal?
Yes.
We didn't care.
That didn't matter.
Jesus.
We were 800 miles from home. We needed to get back home, and
We had young kids.
they were talking at that point. They told him he would need at least 8 to 10 weeks of IV antibiotics. So we knew if he got put into a facility, it was another 8 to 10 weeks out there. And I said, if you can handle it, we're going home. And so we did, and got to Borges, and they hooked us up with visiting nurses who said and taught me how to give him the IV antibiotics, and then they came to the house too. So that was way better than a nursing home facility. And he was on those probably for about 12 weeks there, and then
At home.
At home. And then that was from August through October, and then we kind of challenged back and forth. He wasn't getting better, and we were working with the doctors in Kalamazoo, and finally, and when they put him on the vancomycin, they told me it probably will do heart damage. And and the tests that he needed and the treatments he needed, the cardiologist in Kalamazoo said, you got to go to Mayo, and hooked us up at Mayo. And the following September, we went to Mayo for a week for his heart, and met them. They put him on medication for about 8 weeks, and he was like a walking coma. He had a hard time speaking, thinking. He just wasn't there. And at that time, we talked to the cardiologist at Mayo on the phone, and she said, you can take him off that medication, but I don't know how fast his heart's going to deteriorate. And that's when we sat down and prayed and decided that we would rather have him living normal in a short period of time than to be walking around in a coma like a little old man. I mean, he wasn't living.
Dragging my feet around.
And took him off the medication, and that was in 2012, and I've never had another issue since.
It's been that long ago?
Yeah.
That was 2012.
And
I can't believe that.
I know.
And in the last
What were you thinking? I mean, that was your first kind of...
That was the first big episode.
And we all go through these stages of children, and we want with them and all this kind of stuff. But that was the first time that you ever, I remember thinking, Lord, save my buddy, because it got that serious. Mm-hmm. Wasn't that correct?
Yeah.
And you guys aren't real heavy texters, are you?
Well, texting wasn't a big thing then. That was just starting to come out, texting was.
Okay, because I remember...
Still, I'm not.
It doesn't matter. I don't know why I brought that up. Okay. But like, I remember not being able to get blow by blow. You know what I mean? So what were you guys praying during that time?
I don't even know if you were thinking for most of it. Because, I mean, when we were in Massachusetts, he was in ICU for a good 10 days. And then once he was stabilized and they were willing to move him to the nursing home is when I'm like, nope, we're out.
Yeah.
So he, that's where I started having the feeling for people who sit at the bedside, right. Is because they were asking me to make life decisions for him and for us, and I couldn't get his input. And so it was like, okay, try a new medication. Is this what you want?
Where do you want to be healed?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I was talking to my wife the other day, and it's so hard because I know you're like me. We trust God to heal, and we want Him to heal. And, you read the stories of the Bible, and as it progresses, though, if you look at Acts, there's these windows of healing where, the gospel is going forth, and we always hope for that. And it sounds like He healed you on that, but that wasn't, how long did that last until, because the next thing you had happen, wasn't it like you fell off a chair or something like that?
Yeah, I was fixing a plumbing issue in our basement, and I was standing on a swivel bar stool.
Let's just pause just for a moment.
I know. But, all right, so who hasn't stood on a chair and changed a light bulb?
Not a swiveling chair.
Probably not. But as it started,
You shouldn't.
Please don't.
The lesson to be learned.
Yes. This chair started swiveling as it's supposed to, and I went to jump off the chair, and I jumped into the back of the chair, and it stopped my feet and flipped me over, and I landed on the tile floor in the basement and shattered my pelvis and broke my wrist, and I had ribs broken, so I basically broke my whole left side. Shoulder and elbow were good, but the wrist was busted and the pelvis was shattered. They ripped me into the hospital.
Wait, back up. How did they find you?
Oh, yeah, there's Jesus. Mm-hmm. I thought, I got home from work and I want to finish this plumbing issue. So I took my phone out of my pocket and set it on the counter, and I went downstairs to finish this project. Then I fell. So I'll just crawl up the steps. I'll get up, crawl up the steps. There was no moving. So I'm laying in my basement, and I started thinking, all right, help. I started hollering, screaming, help. And my neighbor next door neighbor was in her house, and this was September, and it wasn't real hot, so the windows were closed.
She heard you.
She heard me. She heard someone yelling, help. So she came out, and she saw my truck was in the driveway, and she thought, well, there's a lot of little kids around. I'll go get Mark, and we'll figure this out. Well, it was Mark in the basement going, help. And Carlene came down, and 911. I'm like, and she called 911, and then the paramedics came and got me. Then Amy was still she had a meeting that night, so she wasn't really going to be home till about 9 o'clock that night, and this happened at 5. And if Carlene hadn't heard me, I'd have been laying on the floor all evening until Amy came home. Probably passed out, because I was in pain. So then they hit me with some fentanyl, and I could have flew then.
Right.
They picked me up and put me on the stretcher and started hauling me away. And Amy pulls in, so she runs up to see me.
Did you know Amy?
Carlene had called me, and all she said to me was, Mark fell, ambulance is on the way. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. And I was headed to my meeting. I immediately said, okay, I'm heading home, and was heading home. And then I thought, Carlene is a close enough friend that if Mark had, broke his ankle or hurt his arm, that she would have taken him to ER and called me from there. So when she said ambulance, I thought, oh no, how bad is this? And that's why the ambulance was starting to pull out of our driveway as I pulled up. So I blocked him in, and I said, I got to put eyes on him. And so they opened up the back. Well, he's high on fentanyl, and all he's like was like, wow. And,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it to me, I immediately closed the doors and thought to myself, he's got a head injury. Okay. And I closed the doors and I said, take him to Borges. I'm right behind you. And on my way, I'm trying to call our son, Dan, who's the only one of our kids that live in town. And because I thought, he's got a head injury. What am I going to do now? But he didn't.
It wasn't bad. It was just that.
How long was that recovery? I'm trying to think about when I would stop by and see you. Now it's all a blur of which one it was.
Well, I know. It's such a project.
No.
That was the end of September, and Wow.
They screwed me back together, and it worked out. And in rehab and, PT works.
Yeah.
I still have a limp, and it's still sore when it rains, and it's cold, it bothers me, but I'm walking, and my hand works now, and I'm good from that. So I healed up from that. God was very good. The problem I have with God is he doesn't operate on my time. He operates on his time, and I'm not very patient sometimes with God.
I think that's something we all...
Well, it is, and I'm learning that, it's not just about me. It's God has points to make and people for you to see and missions for you to do, and he uses these situations to spread his word, and I have to be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the thinking about the recovery was, this happened the end of September. The end of July, my mom got put in hospice. And so I was dealing with that. My mom in hospice, him broken. And she passed away on January 4. So there's a mixture in there to even pinpoint when your recovery came, because we kind of got thrown into her passing away and her funeral and taking care of her house and stuff. And
So that's the second thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom, you were caring for your mom. I commend you for that. We're going through that right now with my mother-in-law and caring, and it's
tough.
Yeah, it's a trying thing, but I think about how important that is for us to love. And it's interesting too. I think a lot of the listeners could probably resonate with this. There comes a point in your life, especially if you're in your 50s or 60s or even older, where you almost like reverse roles with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
You become the parent. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And how God intended that to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so both of you have encountered that and have lost both your parents,
right.
Mm-hmm.
who are now okay in heaven, which is the power and the strength of that. So God wasn't. So the first one, a spider. The second one, so you get this infection. Your wife bootlegs you back to Kalamazoo, like a good Dutch woman would.
Oh, absolutely.
We're doing it our way, man.
Dropping gear.
Yeah, dropping in gear. Forget that place. And so you go through that, and then you fall off the chair, which God didn't make you fall off the chair. We all know that. That's just
stupidity.
Yeah,
no other words.
You're like, yeah, let me just get on a swivel chair. It won't happen.
No, not me. I'm a tough guy.
That's like being with my ladders. My kids, like my wife, one year they got me one of those gorilla, the ones like this, because I had an old one that was just wobbly and stuff. And you never think it'll happen to you, right?
But it does. It will.
And that's how I want to talk about is life. You guys have been through a lot, and we haven't got to the big one yet.
I thought it was all over, and I was wrong.
Did you ever go through life kind of like, do you ever do the why me kind of thing?
I did. And now it's more, why not me? If that makes any sense. Job got beat up.
Right.
Other people Moses got beat up. Noah had his trials. Why not me?
I think, Amy, you've been studying the Word and been involved with women's studies, and do you think that most Christians, when something out of the ordinary or horrific or horrible happens, do you think most Christians think that their lives should be like better because of, you know what I mean? Like the physical, like there's a dimension here.
Yeah.
Like spiritually, physically, or, like we pray for healing, we pray for these things, and sometimes it just doesn't come.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you guys have had a lot of healing. God has protected beyond
big time.
Many people that I've talked to.
Huge.
In the chairs or in the church itself with hundreds and hundreds of people, their story is completely different.
I feel very blessed.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
How important is thankfulness to you?
Huge. I thank God every day. Just thanks for taking care of me. Mm-hmm. Thanks for giving me one of your miracles, 2 or 3 of your miracles, more than I don't even realize. Mm-hmm. But I still pray to a God that gives miracles every day. So, we're looking for more.
Yeah.
And we know that they'll come.
Yeah. Because you guys are struggling right now. I want to go to this before we go to that.
Sure.
Your son-in-law, Pat, struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going through, how old is Pat?
He's 42.
42.
Yes.
Can we talk about that
Yeah.
at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to, because you know how you go, and this is like I hopefully, I want to bring this all around and talk about what we can do in this, but you're watching him suffer with lupus, correct?
Lupus, and then it's exasperated. He has alpha-gal syndrome.
What is that?
That is, you get it from a tick bite, and it makes you highly allergic to anything mammal, food, clothing, medicine that has any form of mammal in it.
So like meat and wool and
any meat. He can have fish. He can have chicken, but
no live berry.
No milk. No dairy products. There's a lot of medication that the capsules have mammal base to it. There's clothing that has mammal base to it. It's amazing how much mammal is in everything we absorb, and it makes them highly allergic to it.
And you were just there.
Yes.
Right. Why were you there?
He was bad. He's been in and out of the hospital for, when we went to Mayo in December, he was in the hospital. I think he was in there for like 3 months. I'm not quite sure. Having a bad, I think in the end they determined it was a bad lupus flare-up. He, at that time, he has just gone downhill. He was a chiropractor. Mm-hmm. And he was at the point where he had to sell his practice. He was having a hard time getting out of bed or even walking. Kate, and because they live in Massachusetts, we don't see it.
Kate, your oldest.
Our daughter.
This is her husband.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And she finally got him to the hospital, and the tests after tests after tests, and came home. Things were starting to look a little bit better, and then a couple weeks ago, I think it was on Tuesday before Mother's Day, Kate called, and things looked pretty dire. He was down to 110 pounds. And this is a 6-foot guy who played hockey and football and was very healthy and very strong. I would guess 180 some pounds was prime weight with him. And they have 3 kids, 9, 11, and 13. And she was at the end of her rope too, and so dropped everything and went out there to help take care of the kids so that she could be at the hospital with Pat. And
That's important.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, you think about people that are older in the church and how they sometimes can feel like they don't have, a ministry, or, you know what I mean? We've talked about this regularly, and how once we get through everything, we'll sit back down and talk. But it's a good reminder that everyone has something. Do you know what I mean? Everyone, we shouldn't rely on the church alone to provide for us a network. And that's one of the things I love about you guys is you'll take the initiative. Of course, it's your children, so you're gonna do that hands down. But that's something that I think
that can be expanded.
Yeah, it's just hearing there's a need,
right?
And this is the thing I love about you guys, and I pray for. Well, I should pray for. I pray for is that people would pick up and go. You know, that's what I see as you, like every time I do one of these, I start to see this pattern after we talk, is you're kind of like, we pick up and go, here I am, Lord, send me. You know, is that kind of something you live by?
Try to.
Yeah.
Set of hands, Lord, use them, use what I have.
Yeah, so
what can we do? What can we do to
how
step
can we
in?
make a difference?
Yeah. Which is a rarity.
Well, people have stepped up for us, and it expands. How do you pay your debts? You pay back or pay forward.
Right.
You help the next guy down the road.
But in the world,
it doesn't always do that. There's folks, but not as much as there should. We want to be part of the solution on that issue.
Why do you guys do that?
I don't know.
You think it was something you were taught when you were a kid?
Probably. That's what you do. In our minds.
Yeah, because I'm a recipient.
Well,
you know what I mean?
So are we.
Yeah, but it's something for us to think about, for the listener or anyone out there. I always ask people, what are you doing? Like, I always say this, I've said it from the stage 100 times. Just because you know something doesn't mean you're doing it. Like, I know I'm supposed to pray. I know how to pray. I know all these things, but am I praying? I know that God calls me to serve, and I know that he wants me to serve, and he's like, hey, make disciples, but am I doing it? And I commend you. I know you don't want to hear that.
It's okay.
But I think it's important for all of us to remember that it's not, taking care of people is inconvenient. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, because I'm like, where you at, man? I haven't seen you. I'm like, what you doing now, man? And you're like, oh, we're in Massachusetts, man. Pray for my son. We're in Ohio or whatever. I'm like, what? Or, all these different things. But I think that's part of what God wants for us is to set down self. You know what I mean? We can be so selfish as people.
There's so much work to be done.
Good word.
So much work. We used to, the church started feeding people on Christmas Day and Thanksgiving years ago. And then some things happened when we were at the school where the kitchen wasn't up to snuff or something was goofy that way. It didn't work. So we kind of did a little bit of our own, and we would make 100 meals at Christmas and hand them out on Christmas Day with our kids. And we did that for some years, and then that kind of went away. But people just say to us, man, I wish I could do something. And it's like, there's so much to do. You just pick a spot. You can fit in.
Yeah, that's such a good word.
There's things to do. And I have been so extremely blessed that we have to give back.
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody thinks that way, but I do. And I think you do too.
I think people are afraid of, so often in my prayers is, God, show me. And I know even going to North Point, for 6 months, Mark was on my case to go with your team to North Point, to start North Point. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. And I just kept saying, Lord, show me. And one by one, all my excuses were removed.
So you were the initiator to come here? Really?
Yeah. And in the end, you had your first sermon in July. It was kind of an introductory thing. And it was, if your cow was in a pit, God would say,
ox,
leave it. Yeah, leave it. In a ditch. What would you do? Was leave it and go and serve the Lord. And we were driving home, And Mark says, so what do you think? And I said, in 2 weeks, your daughter's getting married. That's all I'm thinking about. And he said to me, oh, if your axe is in a pit. And I turned to him and I said, and Jason's daughter's not getting married in 2 weeks.
So once we got through that, then we'll talk about the ox. But yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's. I think that's a constant prayer for both of us. Is Lord, show me. It's not our plan. It's not what. I mean, I'm a planner. In the last 2 years, all my planning's been shot out the window, and so.
Yeah, it's. We can make plans, but it's God who guides our steps.
Yes.
And then I think of Proverbs where it talks about trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him. So there's that catch of, as a planner, my wife is a planner, like it needs to go this way. And if it doesn't, we still trust the Lord, but then it says, and He'll make your paths straight, or He'll guide your feet, basically. Which brings me to this. You, my friend, had biopsies and all kinds of stuff. That's your latest one. Let's talk about that for a minute. What happened? This is another phone call.
Well, not really. I mean,
I have anticipatory anxiety when I see Mark calling. It's either the best thing in the world or the wheels have fallen off.
Have a good day.
Yeah. What happened then?
He thought he was having trouble with a hemorrhoid, and we went to the doctor for that. And it was a Thursday afternoon, and immediately the doctor had him in surgery Monday morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
It was a golf ball-sized tumor in his colon. And so it was removed, and even at that point, I think the doctor was convinced it was cancer, and it came back all benign a week later. Cool.
I remember that.
We're great. Well, problems with the colon continued. And so we went back to the doctor, and they said, well, we think you have Crohn's. And did a couple tests and medications and stuff, and it wasn't getting any better. He was still having problems with his colon. And finally, in October, they decided that he needed to have some sort of infusion medication. And so, okay, we're playing the game, a couple of other colonoscopies, and we're going to give you urgent treatment. Well, this was the first part of October. By Thanksgiving, we still hadn't had the treatment. He's getting worse and worse. I'm frustrated, calling the doctors every day, what's going on. And finally, I said to him, let's see what Mayo's got to say, because it's where do you go from here? And I called Mayo, said, hey, how do we get an appointment? Well, because Mark had been at Mayo back in 2012, once you're a Mayo patient, you're always a Mayo patient. And so they said, we'll set up a phone conference for you next week. We'll talk to the doctors. And in the meantime, if you can get as much information from your doctors, and you had also had an MRI, see if you can send it to us. And so we gathered all the information, sent it to them, and we had the initial phone conference with Mayo, and they said, well, we're seeing from your MRI that you need to see the liver transplant team. And we're kind of like, what? We're calling about his colon. That's the least of your problems right now. You need to have an appointment with the liver transplant team. And they set up appointments for the following week. And with Mayo, once they start setting up appointments, they stack them up. We 3 and 4 in a day, and then the next day. And we got down there and they...
this is in Florida, right?
Yeah, they said the soonest they could get us in was Jacksonville, Florida, as opposed to Rochester in December. I'm like, bonus.
Warm weather.
Yes. So we decided to go down there. Last minute, we decided we're going to take our fifth wheel as opposed to staying in a hotel. Anticipated staying a week, but booked that we were going to stay 2 weeks just in case. Got down there, they started running tests, and we were walking on the beach and got a phone call from one of the doctors. And when he had his MRI in Kalamazoo, they said, "Oh, by the way, you have gallstones." And at that time, I said, "That's no big deal. I had gallstones. We're not going to worry about that." Mm-hmm. We got the phone call. We were walking on the beach from the doctor. It was about 7 o'clock at night, and he says, "You don't have gallstones. You have 2 malignant tumors in your gallbladder." And he says, "Gallbladder cancer leaches to your colon, lungs, and liver. We need to have that out immediately." And within days, Mark had his gallbladder out, actually on Christmas Eve. And then he had a colonoscopy the day after Christmas. And then we sat and waited for results as to when the next steps were. Mm-hmm. And it was a long week, but we did go and visit some friends, which that helped, and then came back. They did feel that they got all the cancer out in the gallbladder, but he has a lot of lesions in his lungs. They have now determined none of them are malignant. Mm-hmm. They've determined that's sarcoidosis. And his colon is still a problem. And he has to go back in August because his liver numbers are out of whack still now. So.
Every time they look for something, they found more.
Yeah.
And we still hadn't got to the problem that we went there for. It's like, Lord, what are you doing? You know, I need to be in Massachusetts with my son-in-law who's dying, and I'm stuck here in Florida with my own garbage. And he just said, be patient. So we did. We went there for 2 weeks and ended up being there 10.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
The first round. And then
that was back in the spring, right?
We came back for a couple weeks and went back down.
We had to go back.
And then came home for a few weeks and then back down. And
so you guys have been through. I try not to focus on all of that, which I don't want you to, and you wouldn't want to anyway. But I want to bring. I don't see you wavering. Like, I don't see you like mad at God. Are you?
Mm.
Not at all.
Mm. No.
Not at all.
Do you? So how do you?
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Like, I want to talk about that because, we have something in our family, man, about broke me on stage a few weeks ago, just lamenting. You know what I mean? That's a whole different ball game than. I mean, there's fear. Everything you've done, like when you crash off the chair and you're kind of like, okay, that was a dumb move.
That was me.
Yeah, I mean, Lord help me. Yeah, you're gonna, but that was you. But then I think sometimes we expect. I don't know, it's what I'm encountering right now. Is I expect things to go a certain way. I mean, Amy, you probably understand this, man. There's a system to this thing that if I do this and do this, then this will be the outcome.
Right.
And I think have learned, and I'm learning, that's not the case. It's to trust.
You gotta trust in God. God will take care of you.
And everything. And taking care of us doesn't mean, and this is the hardest part for everyone.
Not the next day.
Or it doesn't mean forever. Like we could lose our lives in that. I mean, like.
You could be healed on the other side of the grave.
Yeah.
That could be your healing.
I prayed desperately for you.
Thank you.
Like, no, I mean.
A lot of people have.
Yeah.
Really feel the power of prayer. It's so important.
It is, but what keeps you going? Like Amy, I want to ask you, because I always tell your husband, I'm praying for him, but my wife and I focus on you, okay? Because we're like, he's in God's hands, but you're the caregiver.
Right.
And you've been that. One of the strongest things about you that I love is, and I think women in general have this unbelievable, let me pause, not pause. When my wife gave birth to our first son, I realized at that moment she's a whole lot tougher than me immediately. And then the way that she cares for our children and loves them unconditionally, and I just don't have that capability. Like I just was like, I was angry all the time, or get in the house, or do this, or do that. And she was just this steady Eddie. So you're watching this man who liked your chocolate chip cookies at the beginning, and you've probably made hundreds of dozens of them since that time, go through all these things, and you're the ones driving back, and you're the ones doing this. How did you get through all that kind of stuff? And you're not even through it, so you're in it.
It's God. It's God that's getting me through. We've had many pretty blunt conversations, God and I have.
Mm-hmm.
But He's always there.
Do you think God's disappointed in us when we struggle with Him?
No, because Jesus struggled.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus struggled. There were struggles. There's struggles in this life because of sin. I'm part of a Bible study, reading the chronological Bible every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the beginning of the year, of course, is the beginning of the Bible. But the two places that I was relating to the most was the Israelites was one. Was they were given this great promise, and it took 500 years before this promise was coming to. But even once they got through the plagues into the desert, they didn't have a direct route to this promised land. God took them in a roundabout way. And in that roundabout way, He gave them a lot of struggles. And if you followed Him, you were going to be okay. It's when you stray from Him that you're not okay. And but there's that promised land, and for us, the promised land is heaven, and there's going to be struggles getting there. And to focus on Him as opposed to focus on the dark side of what could be is what gets you through. And the other one that I related to was Job, and it wasn't Job himself. And I've read the Bible many times, and I've known the story of Job, I think, my whole life. But it is his wife. She stood beside. She buried 10 children. She lost everything, and she stood beside a sick husband with not so supportive friends. And I was thinking about his wife, and there she stood. She's mentioned one phrase in the Bible.
Curse, curse the day you were born.
Curse God and die.
Yeah, curse God and die, I'm sorry.
And my thought was, she wanted him out of his misery. She wanted what was best for him. And those were things. It's like, you need to, in the Israelites and in Job, you need to focus on God. Focus on God, and that's what's going to get you through.
Mm-hmm. That's a good word. Easy. I have an accountability partner. He's the pastor at the River. His name is Brad. And God has used him in a tremendous way in my life. And we were talking about this. And I can't remember what author it was. So I might cheat that author right now. But I think it was Eugene Peterson, maybe. Okay, so he was the guy that wrote the Message, the paraphrase of the Bible.
Yeah.
And he was talking, it was either him or maybe, I don't know who it was, doesn't matter. But he talked about that desert situation. Okay, so he used these words: orientation, disorientation, and reorientation. And orientation is what we're used to. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you've had periods of time where you're used to, I remember going seeing your sons play football. That's you're oriented. You like when you go to a class orientation or a school orientation, they're making you familiar with what's going to happen. So you think about Israel, and during captivity, they got used to, even though we got to work really hard, we got meat, we got this. So when God took them out of there, they went to a place of disorientation. Okay, so this isn't the same. So if you think about what did they say? Well, when we were there, we had meat. We had this because they don't see the reorientate. You don't see, and God had to strip away all of those things. And as we go through these places of disorientation, it's unfamiliar territory. Where's the water? I'm hungry. Where's the manna? God providing in those places, receiving the word, receiving commandment. I mean, all of these things take place in the desert. Do you think that in these desert moments that you've grown the most?
I've grown in a different way.
Explain.
For one, making plans, future is when you're sick like this, is our future is to the next appointment. It's not a year from now. I've grown into not being disappointed if a reservation or something has to be canceled because we have to take care of his health. People ask about, a friend of mine was making a breakfast date that a group of us girls meet for breakfast, and my response is, if Lord's willing, I'll be there. It seems to be my phrase. And even the little bit I've been working in between things, my office, so I'm like, well, if the Lord's willing, I'll be here on Monday. And it's expecting things are going to pivot at any time, and
and being okay with that.
And that's it, being okay with it. Before it was I would fight it. No, I have a schedule. I have this plan. I need to be doing this. And now it's being okay with it. And when we got the call a couple weeks ago from Kate that Pat was going back in the hospital, it was within an hour or two we were out of town. We were on the road heading there. It's wrap things up. It's stuff is just not as important.
You think about where you're at in your life, though, too. Like, you're able to do that.
Sure.
If you were in your 30s or 40s,
Can't do that.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Mark? Where are you at, like, with all this kind of stuff? What's grown you?
Put my trust in God. He will take care of me. I've been on my knees more in the last bit than ever. And I think God wants us to communicate with him, good and bad. He wants us to tell him how we feel. I think he does. And he knows all this, but he wants us to confess ourselves to him and bring our strifes. And, hey, I'm expecting you to take care of this. You said you would take care of me. But I also have come to the realization that, it's not my time. I've said that a few times now. But our new life is, I have to get through today to get to tomorrow. That leads to what Amy's saying in the plannings, because tomorrow might not be here. So we got to finish today first. and then we could deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes. And, you know, we always thought about, we plan this and we do this, and business would be this and this and this and then that. And no, you have to do right now what God lays on your heart. And when God tells you something and whispers in your ear about, you know, you need to call somebody, you need to visit somebody, you need to do that, because that's God talking back to you.
Yeah, it's the idea of living in the present.
Live with your Lord.
Yeah, like I only have today. What does Jesus say? You know, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough trouble with its own.
Right.
I never understood that. Like until you go through.
I kind of got a little bit of a glimpse of it now.
Yeah, it's like, well, I got to worry about tomorrow because I'm going to retire, or I've got to do this and this. And I think, do you think that most people live in life with fear? Fear of
not doing what they want to do?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know why that popped in my mind, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like fear of not accomplishing, fear of something's going to go wrong, like anticipatory anxiety. It's like we carry this with us. And it sounds like you two have come to a point where you're able to go, though he, as Job said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Though I go through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you're with me. You know what I mean? Like you're learning that from the depths of struggle with kids, struggle with my son-in-law, struggle with seeing your daughter weep over this, seeing the grandkids, seeing that where's this cancer possibility, not leaving. I mean, it just, you've been in the valley. What do you tell people that are in the valley?
Hang on.
keep walking.
Yeah.
Keep walking, man.
How do you keep walking?
One step at a time.
It's like how to eat an elephant. One bite at a time. You just got to stay on it. God will be there, take care of you. And I'll emphasize this more, is it's not my time. And that's where the selfishness of Mark comes in. I want it now. I want it now. I'm a fixer. I can fix this. I can fix this. Well, not really. It's God fixing stuff in this kind of situation and taking care of you and being faithful to us for being his faithful followers. And, you know.
And God will show you. Anytime you just think it's just spiraling out of control and you're asking for him to show you, he will. Yep. He will come through and show you, but you have to open your eyes to it.
You gotta look.
And sometimes he'll show you what you don't want to see.
Oh, yeah. That comes too.
Yeah.
That comes too.
I think that's the toughest thing that we all encounter. I know in my life that's been the hardest thing, is like, I don't understand Job. You know, I've preached Job. There's something about all of us in our lives. I don't know what it is, if it's marriage, you know, whatever that is. And it's easy for us to tell people, you'll make it. You know, you'll make it. But when you're in it,
it's work.
It's
work. You know,
what kind of work is it, you think? What is it?
I've prayed many times, Lord, can you just give me a picture of this is going to look out? And of course, you don't really, you kind of do, but you don't. It's just settle my soul so that I can handle what's going on right now. And then tomorrow again, I'll need it again. But knowing full well that God's will and word will prevail, and the promises are made in the Old and New Testament will come true if we believe. I know I'm maybe talking too much, but that's kind of where I'm going. You know, we'll get through today, fire up tomorrow. Okay, I got this no out of the way. I'm ready for some yeses.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of mercies are new. You know, things are new each morning.
Every day starts over.
Great is your faithfulness. God's been faithful to you?
Very
Absolutely.
Much. Very much.
Every step of the way.
Do you think that we have to trust his faithfulness? Like we have to learn that as well?
Oh, yeah.
What his faithfulness is? Because you know how you're like, I've encountered this with many people where, well, I've been faithful. I should get it. You know what I mean? But I've done that.
It never says when, though.
I know, but I've been like, I mean, as a pastor, all of a sudden you're throwing like, it's easy to say things,
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Like, if you're like, hey man, pray for me. Oh yeah, I'll pray for you. And I do.
I know.
But you're not in it. You know what I mean? And there are lots of listeners out there that we all have something.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's exempt.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep hearing you guys say, it's just, is it the SEALs or something? Talk about the 3-foot circle. That's all you can control. Is the 3 feet in front of you, the 3 feet around you. That's all you have. And there's a reality to that. That's the only thing you can control. You can control if you reach out and touch someone. You can control whether or not you turn the knob on it. That's it. That's all you have. And there's something so difficult about that.
Well, accepting that we're just human. And we think, oh, I'm a superstar, I can do anything, but with God's help. But by yourself, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's okay to be human.
It's okay to be human.
But
It's okay to doubt.
It's learning to put aside your voice and listening to God's voice.
And accepting the new normal.
But you've done it for years. I mean, I have told him ever since cell phones came out, he had a cell phone ministry. And somebody would come to mind and he'd pick up the cell phone and he would call them. And I know you've been a recipient of it, and sometimes it would be like, I hope you're happy.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. Again, that's something we have to do. You know what I mean? Like, there have been days that you've called. You're hoping I was happy. I wasn't happy. You know, I was hurting. And I'm like, man, I think that's something that I'm just encouraging everyone that's listening to this. This podcast is not about all what you've encountered and this and that. Those are things that shape you. It's
what you do.
Being in the mess and still trusting Christ. You know, still trusting that, you know, I can still, you said something interesting, Amy. You said listening to his voice over your voice. Is that kind of how you said it? What does that sound like, or what's that look like?
It can look like many things. The big encounter I had with God this winter was that period of time after he had his gallbladder out. We're waiting for test results, and we had gone and seen a friend. And while we were down there, some other friends were stopped to see us and asked us to come to church with them. And they were part of a church plant, and they had known that we had been too. And so we went with them to a church plant. And the very last song we sang was The Amazement of God, I think. Oh, now I can't think.
Keeps following me.
But anyway, the chorus is, God is chasing after me, God is chasing after me, is the chorus of it. And while we were singing it, Mark picked up his phone and started recording it. And, you know, I don't know whatever moved it, but, you know, then a day or two later, we went back to Jacksonville, and we were walking on the beach, and both of us we lost even talking to each other. We were both up in our own heads, walking on the beach, and one of the first things that when Mark started playing that recording, and so I'm humming the chorus, God is chasing after me, God is chasing after me. I'm humming it as I'm walking on the beach, looking around on the sand, and there's this little girl running around on the beach. And the reason I noticed her is because she looked identical to one of my grandkids. to the point where I looked around to see if our kids had surprised us and were hiding in the weeds to see our reaction. You know?
Right.
And so anyway, I continued walking, and I hear Mark from behind me yell my name, and I turn around, and there's that little girl, and she hands me this seashell and then ran off.
So for those listening, you just pulled out a seashell in your pocket.
Yes. And I've carried it around for me because the fact that the song singing God is running after me, and this beautiful little girl that got my attention hands me a seashell, it reminds me every day God is chasing after me. And it brings me back to those words, and I feel very strongly that God is saying those to me. I'm chasing after you. Now, we were just in Silver Lake over the weekend, and I lost my seashell yesterday. And I was really bummed about it because I thought I
rightfully so.
Had Kleenex in my pocket and probably pulled it out with it. And I was really kind of bummed with it. Well, the granddaughter that was identical in Florida was at Silver Lake, and as she was getting ready to leave, she went down to the beach at Silver Lake, and she came back with 6 tiny seashells and asked and gave them to me. And
this might be something you need to remember, huh?
Remember, yeah. I don't think I can forget.
Right.
Because I mean, I had it was an absolutely wonderful weekend. I had no reason to be bummed, and I thought I'm bummed over a little seashell, but it was what it means to me. But it said to me, God is continually saying to me, I'm chasing after you. I am here with you. We'll get through this. And God speaks. You ask him. He'll
I know.
Ask him to open your eyes and your mind.
Is that what you would tell people kind of in closing? What encouragement would you give them? Because for someone listening,
look for God speaking to you. Listen. Just shut up and listen. And because God talks to you in quiet times and in hard times, and you have to be responsive to be able to pick it up sometimes. The shell story. Then we went back to the trailer, and she found the little shell that she had lost. Yeah. And it took losing the shell to get the new shells.
And I think sometimes we think, unless it's some sort of, I know, being theologically trained and, right. You get super religious. I think that God is consistently and constantly present.
Yeah.
And we just are so busy doing what we're doing that we can't see him. We had a situation where we're praying for my daughter-in-law and struggling with some health things, and one thing led to this and ended up at U of M. Like that's, if you don't pause. My wife says I dwell. Okay, this is a new word for me. And so for the last week or so, I've been kind of really saying, is that true? Am I fixed on him, or am I fixed on the problem? Do you know what I mean? Like you can get so fixed on the what ifs that you forget the who is. It can get like that. How important is worship and reading in the Word and prayer for you guys?
Don't do it near enough. It's super important.
Very important.
Yeah. And the friends that you have supporting you, those are all people of faith, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys been.
Yes.
We've been very blessed with friends. We've got really good swinging area people that swing for us, or that not swing, but pray for us and talk to us and ask us and are concerned. We've been very blessed with you guys, of course, and others. Like we just went to the Silver Lake with a bunch of folks, and it's just, I know it's almost unexplainable how good it is. I cannot imagine fathom going through what we've gone through with this little stupidness of me without having God with us. I don't know how people without faith would ever get through anything. I mean, maybe I'm talking crazy, but
no, I don't think you're talking crazy. I think you're asking the question that everyone's asking.
How do they do this? How, without this presence of the Lord holding you in his hands, how does life even begin to make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But it also, even with God walking through this with us, it doesn't mean we don't have bad days. We don't have days we're crying. We don't have days that I'm going, what are you doing, God? I mean, questioning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, I don't want anybody to, think they have less faith because I'm having a bad day and can't figure out what God's doing. I mean, that's...
You can doubt, but you come back.
I don't think it's doubt as much as it is question.
There you go. Questioning. You can question God, and he'll explain to you somehow.
I think a lot of people are really scared because of the religiosity or the religion that we have. Like, if you waver or you wonder where he's at, like if you look at the prophets, like, I'm out.
Yeah. How could I be chosen?
This is deception, or this is messed up. But I think genuine faith is circling back around,
Mm-hmm.
And it may take a week, it may take a day, it may take this, but it's that constant communication. That's what it sounds like with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Is even though I can't explain all this, I'm still going to do this, and that's what I want the listener to take away. Is that, again, it's not about who's got the worst story.
No.
It's about how, like the name of the podcast, how you got through it all. Mm-hmm. And the crazy part is, all keeps going.
Keeps
you know
going,
what I mean? All keeps going.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are awesome.
I thought I was done when I fell off the chair.
Mark, you're not done.
I'm not done, man. I'm not done.
Yeah, guys, I still... Didn't you say, like, after you got the report back, no cancer and this and that, we were praying for all that God must have something for you?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, you did.
That tall. Yeah, he's got a big...
finished with it yet,
big list.
I mean...
He's got a big list for me.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful.
Man, you guys are so awesome.
We're just
what?
I don't know. Just people, man.
I've never seen you without words, man.
I know.
Yeah, I hope and pray that the listener somehow, and that's the beauty of these things, is just
remember God is there for you all the time. You just need to call out and ask. He told us that there's storehouses of blessings in heaven waiting for us to ask for. If you never ask, you won't get them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done some asking and I've got some receiving.
Mm-hmm.
I've been received many blessings, many.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes that blessing doesn't line up with our blessing.
No, but it's not our time.
Well, that's the thing too, like, the fruit of the Spirit's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And sometimes, we have those, and that's not enough because we want some physical thing. But God is constantly pouring into us spiritually. He's like, we gotta shut this thing down. But I could talk to you guys for days. But
I could stay here.
Do you know what I mean? Like you just, maybe I had peace that surpasses all understanding, or maybe I had joy, and then I check, I shouldn't be joyful, but God is pouring out those things. And that's the thing that I'm learning as I grow in my faith, is that it's not physical. Like those are this. Someone asked, there's a statement one time I heard, and I'll kind of land us on this one, but if Jesus was all you had, would that be enough? Absolutely. I think you would agree.
100%.
Man, I love you guys.
One of the things, and I know you wanted to end this, but
We can keep going, man. There's no rules on podcasts.
I think a lot of people feel like, what can I do? I can't do enough. How can I do things? And one of the things, we had a Caring Bridge page, just so that we could get the information out. And it spoke volumes to us, the people that would just click on the heart or click on the like. I mean, and you can see that list. And even if you don't know what to do, to click on that heart, Mark and I would look at it and see how many people did and who did
thousands of followers.
And, there'd be strange names that we didn't know. And it would be like, do you know these people? Do you know these people? These people care. They cared enough to read our story. And if you don't know what to do, click on a heart, But listen to this still small voice. Give them a call.
Do something.
Write a card.
Just anything. We got so many nice cards, and so I was overwhelmed by all the love that's been showed to us. Just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's how God has come and shown up.
But those aren't small things to the recipient. Those are huge
things.
Yeah. I think it's just important, just to keep loving.
Other people share
even when you don't feel love, that's that it overrides. And then to love God and to continue. You guys have been a great example of loving other people, loving each other through this, and then also to loving on your church. And I'm a recipient of like I keep repeating that, but it's so important. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you dearly.
Amen.